يسعد صباحك دينا، صباح النور وأهلا بكم مشاهدينا الكرام إلى حوار جديد مع شخصية ريادية جديدة. إلى أي مدى نحتاج الإنسانية في ريادة الأعمال؟ هذا ما دافع عنه ضيفنا في محاضرة تيد توك وكتابه Time for Humanity، حان وقت الإنسانية، الذي صنف بالأكثر مبيعاً. حصل ضيفنا أيضاً على لقب صاحب الرؤية لتحويل الأعمال في العالم في جائزة الرئيس التنفيذي المتميز العالمية، وأيضاً أفضل رئيس تنفيذ مؤثر من خلال CV ماجازين وغيرها الكثير والكثير. للتعرف أكثر على الدوافع والآثار الإيجابية للتمسك والتطبيق العملي للإنسانية التي هي جزء أساسي من أهداف الأمم المتحدة للتنمية المستدامة، يسعدني أن يكون معنا اليوم السيد سامي الأشرفي، الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة Marmalade Fish. Good morning, Samie.
Good morning.
Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Samie, it's very timely, as we were saying before the air, we went live on the show. We are in the week sustainability goals, and Marmalade Fish satisfies these goals fantastically. It's the first certified B Corporation, and you always stress on the importance of humanity and bringing humanity into the business, whether in your book, which we have it today with us, or whether in your TED Talks and everything you're doing. Tell us, what does it mean bringing humanity into business?
Well, humanity is needed more than ever. The world has changed over the last couple of years. So it's incredible to see this focus now on the global goals, because there's a disconnect between the human and customer experience in workplaces and businesses. Versus if you imagine the first day you get your job offer, people are so excited, versus often how we interact with people. It's almost like their lights have been switched off.
Yes.
So there's a real opportunity now, with so much that's been reset, for us to reconnect back with our own humanity and express that to customers and of course to employees.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's wonderful. Samie, and you've seen in your work, and you've been an employee, and then you became an employer, and then employers and employees empower, because you empower them. You've seen all these, the establishment, in all its phases: pre-establishment, launching, post-establishment. What are the key elements of sustainable success, not any success, which we tend to mix sometimes between success and sustainable success?
It's a great question, because there seems to be this shareholder primacy at any cost. It's like profit before principles, or value before values. So sustainable success is moving away from that short-termism and creating organizations and institutions that will be around for the medium to long term. So something I've seen with businesses that are more successful, if you like, is where the leaders invest in having a coach. If you want to learn tennis, there's only so far you will get from books or YouTube videos. Having somebody to guide you and stay with you on the journey. We're all leaders, but leadership is a verb, something that you step into and practice. Another thing that I think could be really successful is, when it's feasible, logistically and safe, bring people back together in person. Zoom has been a wonderful equivalent, or Teams, for us to be able to connect, but we're seeing there's a real need now for human beings to come back, to be cohesive, to explore conflict norms, and how just to be even more successful in this new paradigm of work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Samie, your other side also, which was actually so impressive, is the spirituality. So you are into the spirituality, and you apply this to your work and everything you do. Whether when I watched your TED Talk or read about your book, you could feel this touch in it. And always when we talk about entrepreneurs and businesses, they tend to search for investments, which is money, funds, supporters. But what about investing spiritually in themselves?
And I think future access to capital will be on who is investable, and it's people who are going to look at mind, body, spirit. I think in the olden days we focused on body. Now we work more, hopefully, with our hearts and minds together. I think that perhaps it's been overstated that leadership is about service to others. It is, but it starts with self. And with so many critical and important big issues in the world, we might have a tendency to focus on them rather than turning the lens back onto ourselves, and, as I say, you do you,
Yes.
Do your work, it's the most humble thing you can do. And call that spiritual or quantum or conscious leadership as we describe it in the book.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful. Samie, when we say transformational, adaptable, flexible management, what does it mean also to lead to success, and not any success, the happy success? Because, you know, sometimes when institutions are doing well, they tend to not, like, they are in their comfort zone not to change because they tell you things are working. Why should I change? What does it mean to be having this transformational mentality?
And these transformational things are human things.
Yes.
What's ironic is that we train leaders to have deeper listening, to be more flexible, to be more nurturing, and yet when you go back into the workplace, like our first part of the conversation was, then you tend to be rewarded on the short-term goals. There's a disconnect. So whether you call these feminine and masculine, or if that doesn't work for you, Shiva or Shakti, whatever you want to call these different energies, there's an opportunity for us to bring ourselves more fully to work, so that I'm not somebody at work and somebody different at home.
Yes, absolutely. Eliphas Paris, which is something actually very unique. You support wildlife-friendly concept. What does this mean?
I had been involved with Marmalade Fish and consultancy services. I wanted to see if we can bring humanity to business. Can nature and humanity thrive as well? Eliphas Paris empowers women in Africa in order to have more sustainable farming practices, and whilst doing so, educate, teach the children. I think being a parent is the most important form of conscious leadership, and in doing so you're protecting the elephant corridors, which if they go, we're going to lose the elephant, which is so emblematic of nature in its majesty. So we have business humanity, we have nature and humanity, and trying to see how do we bring all those things together to live the Sustainable Development Goals in practice.
Wonderful, wonderful. Samie Al Achrafi, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, thank you. وهلأ بنعود إليك دينا بمركز الأخبار لاستكمال فقرات إكسبو هذا الصباح.